Hello, everyone. This is Deb McBride, and welcome to my astrology podcast. It is Sunday, the 25th of August, 2019, and we are in a beautiful afternoon here in Escazú, Costa Rica. And we have a big astrological week ahead. So let's get started. Where do we begin? Let's begin with the sign of Virgo, which is where the sun is now. So we're in Virgo season. And every year at this time of year, we go into Virgo. And it's the time of the harvest. So, reaping what we have sown. And one of the things that we need to be aware of is that Virgo is an earth sign, and we are getting an enormous amount of earth energy in these next weeks. And I spoke last week about this a bit, but now we're going to get into the real details of it because it's actually happening. So, the sun went into Virgo on Friday afternoon. Last Wednesday, Venus went into Virgo. And when we last spoke on the 18th, last Sunday, Mars had gone into Virgo. So that's now 3 planets in Virgo. And this is a lot of Virgo energy. Mars only gets into Virgo once every 2 years. So this is not some, average transit of Mars. This is one of those situations where we are experiencing something we haven't experienced in 2 years, and it happens to be going on while other planets are in Virgo. And all of this Virgo energy is grounding, but it's also encouraging us to manifest, to create something that we've been wanting to create, and to get into having something tangible, like the tangible results of our efforts. And of course, it's been a little frustrating. We've been dealing for a long time now, all these months, this whole year with Saturn and Pluto. And it's work, work, work. And Saturn and Pluto can really make you feel like you're just walking on that treadmill, and especially in Capricorn, and you're not feeling like you're getting anywhere. And you just keep moving in the same direction, and it's not giving you results. But when we now have, what we're going to have is we're going to have some grand trines in Earth, and this should be giving us some real tangible manifestation of what we want. So one of the things that we have to pay attention to is the new moon that's coming up at the end of the week. And because by that time, Mercury is going to be in Virgo. So let's kind of go one at a time here. We've got 3 planets right now in Virgo. So we're getting revved up for this new moon. We've got 3 planets. It's back to school season. We're going into a time period of Earth. We're in Earth. We want tangible results. We want to manifest something. And Mars is taking action. Mars is the action planet. Mars is the initiative. Mars is always about getting ourselves to move and get up out of the chair and get moving and and drive the car someplace, take some action, and make some decisions. And so, as you know, and as we've been talking, there's been a lot of Leo. Mars has been in Leo, Venus was in Leo, everything was in Leo. Mercury went retrograde in Leo, came back to Leo. And, that's typical of August, July and August. But now that we're out of that creative period, so we've been creating something all this time, and now we really want to manifest it. And Earth energy is ripe for manifesting. And Virgo is the sign of the harvest. Remember, the woman is holding the sheath of wheat. And what we want to look at is where Virgo falls in our chart, and what is it that we've been wanting, desiring, imagining all this time that wants to come out. Where are the fruits of our labor? We want the fruit. We want the harvest. We want the tree with the pieces of fruit on it. The apple tree, we want it to bloom. And so the thing we need is to, if you haven't had a plan up until now, you got to make a plan. And if you haven't been launching anything, well, then this Friday is a great time to launch something. So if you've been working on stuff, and I've been working on stuff, I know other people that have been working on stuff, this is the great time for it to manifest. And if you have plans, this is the great time to put them in action, because they're really going to like bear fruit. So what we've got this week is we've got everything lining up in Virgo, and the new moon at 6 degrees, 47 minutes, very early on Friday morning, 6:37 a.m. New York time. And Friday morning, that's going to be a 6-degree sun and moon. And what's going to happen is throughout the day, the moon, of course, moves through the sign of Virgo, and it will be making aspect to all the planets that are already in Virgo. So Venus and Mars are already going to get touched by the moon. So essentially, when I look at my chart wheel for Friday, I see 5 planets lined up very closely in conjunction in Virgo. This doesn't happen, okay? This does not happen. It's one thing if they line up. It's another thing if we have a new moon and they're lined up with the new moon, because the new moon is the spark. Mars is the spark. This is all intense energy in an earthbound sign that wants us to produce. So what we're all looking at right now is getting stuff done, producing, manifesting, saying, this is what I want. I need it to happen. I want it to happen. What do I need to do? So it may seem somewhat elusive after all this time. You know, you've been working on something. It's like, wow, really? Am I going to really make progress? Finally, am I going to make progress? Am I really going to get something out of this? This is unbelievable. So what's happening is that we are working towards this, fruit-bearing aspect on Friday. And 6 degrees of Virgo is trining, which is a lovely aspect, that Uranus that's been in Taurus and been sitting at 6 degrees all these weeks. So remember, went retrograde a couple weeks ago. So here we are ending the month of August. I can't believe it's the end of August, with this major trine to Uranus that just stationed and is sitting at 6 degrees. So this is action. This is a lot of Earth. Nothing's going to be in air. There will be no air planets. After the moon finishes its trip through Virgo, it'll go into Libra. But right now, the moon's in Cancer. It's going to be in Cancer for the next couple days, and then Leo for the next couple days after that, and Virgo. But we'll talk more about that in a minute. So the only planets that are in fire is Jupiter in its own sign of Sagittarius, and the Chiron is in Aries. And Saturn and Pluto in the South Node, as we know, are in Earth. So we've got 5 planets in Virgo, 1 planet in Taurus, 2 planets in the node in Earth. That's, most of the zodiac, most of the planets in Earth. And if we stay strictly with planets, we got 1 planet in fire, 1 planet in water. And what's going on is that we're being told to get something done. So if you've been hemming and hawing about your projects, if you've been waiting for something, now is the time to act. Now's the time to work. Now's the time to roll up your sleeves and, pull back your hair. And if you're a woman and you have long hair, and get your work done. Put your work gloves on, get your work boots on, and get yourself in a place to produce. Now, this doesn't mean kill yourself. I mean, Virgo can be nonstop energy, and Virgo wants results just as much as Capricorn and Taurus want results. Virgo's a little more self-flagellating. Virgo is much more, I could have done better. I could have done a better job. Virgo has high expectations of itself. Not that the other earth signs, especially Capricorn, do too, but Virgo really wants to do a good job for themselves, for everybody else. They're in a position of service. Virgo is a service-oriented sign. And we may feel that we have a lot of service that we want to offer this week. We may feel that our services business or our service that we do is something very much about, getting things done for people, for other people. If you have a service-oriented business, you're being hired to do things, and so you want to do a good job for everybody. But really, what's interesting about this is that it's trining Uranus. Now, what's Uranus? Uranus is in Taurus, yes, but it's innovation, and it is the planet of breaking barriers and taking new roads and making new strides and thinking outside the box. Now, Virgo doesn't do that necessarily, and Taurus doesn't usually do that, but throwing Uranus into the mix here and having it be a trine, this is a really good time to do something different. So maybe what's happening is you want to get something done, but what you've been experiencing all this time is that everything you're doing is yielding the same results, and now you got to try something different. And you've been thinking and working on something different, and now you're going to get a whole crop of different results because you are dealing with Uranus at the same time. So what's happening is that on Monday, tomorrow, the first planet to trine Uranus is Venus. So Venus is going to be at 6 degrees, and Venus is going to be trining Uranus, making the first trine to Uranus out of all these planets. And so that's going to start the ball rolling. That's relationships, that's creativity, that's money. Let's get things moving, Let's think outside the box creatively. And it should be smooth. It should be obvious. When there's a trine, we don't want to get lazy. We don't go, oh, it's just going to happen. No, we want to keep moving, but we want to acknowledge and be having gratitude for the good things that are happening that's bringing us to a point of manifestation. So Venus is the first stop. Then during the week, so Wednesday is going to come, the 28th, and Mars is going to trine Uranus. And so now everybody's starting to line up at 6 degrees close by and trine Uranus, which this is a moment, guys. This is something where we have to pay attention because Uranus shakes up the status quo. So usually, this is interesting because if everything lined up in Virgo, usually it would be just like, okay, we're working hard, we're scrubbing the sink, my house is clean, the garage is cleared out, my desktop is clean, my computer files are in order, blah, blah, blah. But Uranus is saying, no. You have to initiate some interesting, creative, outside the box process here. We don't want to just do what's typical. We have to do something a little more grand, folks. And that's not always easy. It should be easier this time because it's Uranus, because it's a trine, and because we are, we've been thinking about these projects and actions for a long time. So Venus to Uranus tomorrow is a new approach. Maybe a new approach to your relationships, maybe a new approach to your finances, a new approach to your creativity, a new approach to dealing with your family. It's still Venus. The people you love. Maybe it's a new approach to your wardrobe. Maybe you're going to make a new fashion statement, but there's got to be progress. It isn't just work for the sake of work. It's work to get you to the next level. Thank you, Uranus. Uranus gets us someplace we haven't been before, someplace a little unfamiliar. It's making it easy for us because there's a trine. Not like, it's a square. I don't know what to do. I'm aggravated because it's Uranus. And it's getting me hot under the collar. No. What we're looking at is an opening, an opportunity. Seek the ideas, meditate. I'm always talking about meditation, but focus on what you want and find a new way of getting it. Okay? Things you haven't tried before. Okay, so that's Venus. Then Mars comes. Mars and Uranus are lots of excitable energy. So we may be excited. We may not be able to sleep. We may not be able to keep control over our instincts. Like we get excited and we go into a meeting and we're just running at the mouth and it's like, just slow down, buddy. So but at the same time, Mars and Uranus together can really make something happen. And so, get your creative thinking cap on, get your, your whatever you do to sort of shake up your reality and shake up your creativity, the place to go is, that's on Wednesday. If you need to go have like a group session with people that's going to help you focus on something different or get your energy moving in a different direction, fantastic. That could be it. That Mars Uranus. It's a trine. It's not a square. It's not a conjunction. It's not an opposition. So it is a flowing aspect. It's not going to do things like get us hot under the collar, hopefully. It's a little impatient. It is a bit of an impatient aspect. Uranus is not a patient planet. It is in a patient sign of Taurus. So that's what makes things a little hard right now. It's like we got to have a lot of patience, but we're really getting an impatient planet there. So we really want to get things moving. And so the next piece of business is that the sun is going to trine Uranus on Thursday. So tomorrow's one, Wednesday, and then Thursday. So the sun is going to trine Uranus, and that's, our life force. We're really getting lined up then. Everything is touching one at a time. Pay attention. Each day that this happens, there's a new layer being shown to you, exposed to you, giving you excitement. Pay attention. This is giving you some new information. And by the time we reach Thursday, Mercury is going to be entering Virgo, 3:48 a.m. Eastern time. So Mercury is going into Virgo the same day that the sun is trining Uranus. The sun is in Virgo already, and Mercury and the moon are already going to meet in Virgo because the moon goes into Virgo 7:57 p.m. on Thursday evening Eastern time. It will have been void for 24 hours. So from 8:07 p.m. in Leo on Wednesday night until Thursday night, we are going to be void, and we're going to just need to, keep moving. Don't launch anything on the dark of the moon in the void. Don't. The sun trine Uranus is going to help us move things. That's later that evening, 11:13 p.m., but it's okay. It's so close to aspect. The next morning is when the moon reaches the sun, and the moon is going to trine Uranus shortly before the new moon actually happens, about 40 minutes before. And then there we are. We've got that new moon. And then the moon is going to go greet those other planets that have been trining Uranus all week, that have been in Virgo. So on Friday, there's lots of aspects, lots of activity, lots of action. It's going to conjunct Mars at 8:15 a.m. It's going to conjunct Venus at 2:13 p.m. Of course, it's going to conjunct the sun, but it's going to trine Saturn, square Jupiter, and oppose Neptune. So the moon is very busy on Friday. We're all going to be busy. This is a great time to pick up the pieces and manifest something. Now, here's what's really interesting. The moon is going to trine Saturn at 6:14 p.m. What does this mean? Well, Saturn's in Capricorn. We know that. It's about 13, 14 degrees. And what we're looking at, 14 degrees, Capricorn, what we're looking at is, okay, so now everybody's trined Uranus. They meet with the new moon, and then they're going to start trining Saturn. So, wow, everything's in Earth. Everything is going to start, the moon will be the first. Of course, the moon moves the quickest. It's going to trine Uranus. It's going to trine Mercury. It's going to conjunct Mercury. It's going to trine Saturn by the end of the day on Friday. And then we're going to be looking at what's next. So then the next thing that happens is in the same order. Venus is going to trine Saturn on Sunday, the 1st of September. Well, if this isn't manifestation, I don't know what is, because what all these planets are doing is they're lining up in Virgo. They're going to trine Uranus one at a time, which is in Taurus. They're going to line up with this new moon together in Virgo. And then they're going to one by one, the way they've one by one trined Uranus, they're all going to trine Saturn. And eventually they're all going to trine Pluto. So Talk about getting something done. This is such an opportunity for each and every one of us. This is one of those time periods that we rarely see. And if you have been wanting to do something, this is it. So no excuses. Get up, move, do something. Virgo's about health. Virgo's about work. Virgo is about tidying up your house, cleaning up. Virgo is really about the keeping it clean, keep it. And the Virgo woman with the sheath of wheat, the shaft of wheat, she's virtuous. And this is not about torrid affairs. This is about sorting out the details of what may have been a torrid affair. But this isn't about all sorts of, crazy happenings. This is all about practicality. This is all about reality and what you can do and what you feel you can accomplish right now. And we're all on accomplishment mode. So there's no reason each and every one of us can't get something accomplished. And it's really important to do that right now. It's so clear that we are in a period, a very special period. And we absolutely, I can't stress this enough, you need to take advantage of this. Don't sit through these next couple of weeks and just do nothing. Go to work, come home, watch TV. Don't do it. Clean out the closets. Clear out the refrigerator. Get the energy moving. And, when we do stuff like that, I know it's chores. Maybe you haven't cleaned out the closet in a really long time and given stuff away. Maybe you haven't cleared the clutter in a really long time. But maybe, you have an epiphany about your life while you're clearing the clutter out of the closet. And that often happens. It's just these mundane experiences that bring us some sort of enlightenment. That's why people go off to ashrams and scrub floors and stuff. It's humility. And Virgo is a humble sign. So pick your project. You're going to tidy your house. You're going to do the whole process of the tidying book, or are you going to work on your bank account and get your finances in order, or are you going to launch that website? Which is what I'm doing later in the week. But any case, what we're here to do right now is to work on things, to figure it out, to launch something, to come out of this time period, say a month from now, and feel like we've really accomplished something. We've grown by leaps and bounds. We've made strides. We made progress. Fire, we've been all this Leo. Fire's great for getting things done. And initiating and being inspired and thinking creatively. Virgo is where we see the results of all of that. So it's an interesting thing, when we're in Aries, Taurus follows Aries. There's always an earth sign after a fire sign. So we take initiative, we get inspired, we want to do things, and then we see the results. So again, this is not to be wasted. This is not time to be wasted. You're going to kick yourself in the butt if you don't get anything done during this time. If you have planets in Virgo, if you have planets at the early part of Virgo, you're going to feel this the most. If you have the moon there or the sun, or, if you're, like I mentioned last week, part of the Uranus-Pluto generation from the mid-60s, you have Uranus and Pluto in the early part of Virgo. That's going to come. And that's interesting. If you're a person who's going to have this stuff line up on your Uranus in Virgo and then trine Uranus in Taurus, well, hey, there's nothing but innovation there. You have to think outside the box. Keep doing it. The moon will go into Virgo, like I said, Thursday evening, Eastern time. It will be there all day Friday. It will be void 4:46 a.m. on Saturday the 31st. And then void all day on Saturday. So get it done on Friday. Get it done on Friday. Forget Saturday. Use Saturday to mop the floor. Go to the park. Go, continue the exercise program you started earlier in the week, the new diet, whatever. Use Friday to do everything. Use Saturday to chill out, rest, get your grocery shopping done. Then it goes into Libra at 7:08 p.m. Eastern time. It's in Libra all day on Sunday. And that's when Mercury trines Uranus. So Mercury's following everybody behind, but it's interesting because Mercury is so fast. It's going to fly through Virgo and be done with Virgo by mid-September. So it's going to trine Uranus the same day, next Sunday, the 1st, that Venus is trining Saturn. So now, in the meantime, when this planetary lineup occurs in Virgo, remember I said there's one planet in fire and there's one planet in water. So one planet in fire is Jupiter in Sag. And Jupiter is in Sagittarius at 14 degrees. Remember, that just went direct too. And Neptune is at 17 degrees. And so what does that mean? Well, they're pretty much squaring each other. So, Jupiter is in Sag, Neptune's in Pisces. They are squaring each other. And the planets in Virgo are going to fill in a T-square. And so that's going to be three-pronged T-square. And all those planets are really squaring Jupiter and squaring Neptune. Now, it's not going to happen. Again, one at a time. It's not going to happen all at once. Venus is going to do it first. Venus is going to make that square to Jupiter on Monday the 2nd, and then eventually, get to Neptune on Wednesday the 4th. But so let's look at this. One by one, early, starting tomorrow, all these Virgo planets are going to start trining Uranus because it's in Taurus. Then they're going to line up with the new moon. Then once in a while, they're going to start, once we start moving, they're going to start trining Saturn. And when they're starting to trine Saturn, they're also going to be squaring Jupiter. So essentially, right after that, they're going to square Neptune. So I know this might sound a little confusing, but let's think how this works. There's a trine process initially going on, and then there's a square process going, as conjunction, and then square. So when things pile up and they square two planets, and we make this T-square with a zillion planets in Virgo squaring Jupiter and squaring Neptune, this is really going to be another action-taking aspect because it's a square. We're forced to take action. We can't sit back and ignore it. So Jupiter and Uranus are planets of spirit. They are planets of the ethers. And to me, this says when they get squared like this, if there's things in your imagination, you got to bring them down to earth. That's the whole point of the Virgo stuff. So everything happens in spirit first. Everything happens in the ethers before we actually bring it to earth. Of course, we think about it. We go, oh yeah, remember I was thinking about, starting that project or buying that house or whatever, renovating our house. Then it comes into manifestation. But it's in the ethers. Before it hits your brain, it's in your spirit. So Jupiter and Neptune are representing what's in our spirit and how we're handling it and what we do about it and how we take action to make it true, to make it happen. Neptune, I'm talking too much. Jupiter and Neptune are planets in the ethers that we only dream about, and the things that we've been salivating over, and the things that we are not manifesting. And it's like, once upon a dream, once upon a rainbow, what am I dreaming of? What have I been wishing for? What are your wishes? So think about your wishes, because everything that you've been wishing for can be made real if you work at it in these next couple of weeks. And that's it. We're going to talk more about this next week, and we're going to have a new moon on Friday. So get moving and enjoy that new moon, and don't sit back. Take good care of yourself. Take good care of your health. You don't want to be sick for this new moon, but you want to make progress. And that's the name of the game this week. So my name's Deb McBride. Today is the 25th of August. The new moon is the 30th of August. And if you have any questions or would like a session, contact me, Deb at debmcbride.com. My Instagram and my Twitter are at debastrology. My website is debmcbride.com. And I thank you so much for listening, and I bid you a wonderful Virgoan week. Thank you.